Thank you very much. Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, Weshimiwa.
My name is Honorable Muhammad Elmi. I think I am well known in Wajir. I started my career in Wajir with the Ministry of Health, and then went to Nairobi, came back, and then continued with the Ministry of Health for 10 years. Subsequently joined an NGO called Oxfam, where I was 16 years, first Wajir manager for almost 5 years or 6 years, then became the country director, then became the regional manager covering 5 countries in this region. And then I joined politics. I was the MP for the Greater Wajir East, and then I became the MP, and I was also the Minister of Northern Kenya and other arid lands in that period. And then I became a Member of Parliament in Tarbaj. The 5 things that I would like to see, the changes I would like to see in Wajir are more of how we do things, and then the rest will follow. First and foremost, we want a professional civil service running the government. We have had 2 governments. What I mean by professional civil service is a civil service, anything below the chief officer and the CEC and the governor and the deputy. Those are the political appointments. And therefore, that is 1. 2, we want to devolve those functions to the county, sub-counties and the counties. We want to make sure that all the functions of the county are run by those people. They are the ones who plan the budget.
Yeah, 2 minutes is over.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ahmed Ali Mukhtar, you are number 3. Pick the microphone. Ahmed Ali Mukhtar, thank you.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ahmed Ali Mukhtar, a graduate from an international university in Sudan with a computer science, and a current student in Strathmore doing public policy and administration. I worked with international organizations before I joined politics in 2013. In 2013, I worked with UN, mostly UNHCR. I also worked with MSF, Medicine Sans Frontiers, for those who know. And lastly, I worked with the International Committee of the Red Cross, based in Nairobi. Afterwards, I joined politics, and I ran for Member of Parliament in 2013. And ran on a URP ticket and lost.
1 minute.
I also ran in 2017 as the deputy governor. So I'm currently serving as the deputy governor of the county. And as you well know, I also served as the governor of this county. And having been at the helm for 9 months, what I have seen is what made me join the race and run for the position of the county governor. Because I know the mess that is there, and I feel I'm the right person to fix it. The priority areas for me is, first is the cohesion within the communities in Wajir. I want to be a governor who will work for every person in Wajir without regard to their tribe, to their class, and to what they do. Secondly is the issue of health. A wealthy, healthy nation is a wealthy nation.
Yeah, 2 minutes is over. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have now joined by Honorable Abdullahi Ali Cabreta. Karibu Mheshimiwa. Now we will go to number 4, Dr. Siat. Please, 2 minutes. Introduce yourself and tell us 5 priorities. 2 minutes is very little. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Siad Abdullahi. I'm a candidate for governor on a wiper ticket. I come from a public health, clinical medicine, family medicine, and a postgraduate training in business. I've worked in the private sector in healthcare as a CEO in the last 15 years. My core expertise comes in fixing, revolutionizing, and leading organizations into the future. I've actually started companies from no employees to 1,000 employees. And I've worked internationally, and I've also worked in Kenya. In my early career, I worked in Kenya, working with global NGOs in providing healthcare service delivery, and I was in charge of mobile health clinics. And I'm fairly known to have gone to a lot of places across the county in delivering healthcare service early on in my career. Also a philanthropist. I'm someone who has helped drill a lot of wells and a lot of masajids and many institutions. That's about my background. What I want to do in Wajir and what really gets me up every morning and what has made me live a very comfort zone in my private sector is the problems that are happening in our county. We had an opportunity for this county to fix massive infrastructure problems because the county government ignored this region, but then we got devolution. So what I want to work on is number one, infrastructure. We need power, we need water, and we need sewer. This headquarters is not a functional city without those three things. I believe we have lost significant opportunities in the last 10 years in fixing those problems. That will be my first thing I'll do. So, what you would see from me, elect me as the governor for this county, is I'm going to have a blueprint for Vision Wajir 20. What we're all doing is running around here is not relevant. We need to have a strategic intent. The governor's job is not a task job. It's a vision job. So I want to provide a vision for what it can be in 2050. And even if I'm not there, one term, no. So
Thank you. We'll come back again. Thank you for the 2 minutes. Number 5, Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi. Yes, I think another microphone, please. Thank you. Welcome. 2 minutes. Introduce yourself and tell us 5 priority for Wajir County that you have in your manifesto. Thank you.
Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Ahmed Abdullahi Mohammed Jir. Jir is now an official name. By way of introduction, I am an accountant by profession. I hold 2 degrees and 2 professional qualifications, certified as an accountant both in Kenya and in the US. In terms of career, I worked mostly in the accounting and consultancy field for 17 years before I became governor, and I served as the first governor of Wajir. The 5 things that I want to do as a priority. First is to fix the governance issues that we have, because that is pervasive. It affects everything else. To create a control environment, discipline of government that will be pervasive and touch on everything. 2, fix the water and sewage crisis of this town and the water problem generally. Fix the healthcare system, fix our education system, and commercialize livestock as a way of creating employment for our youth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. We'll go to Honorable Sheikh Mohammed, 2 minutes, and tell us 5 priority of Wajir County. Put it on. Yes, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Sheikh Mohammed. I am a technology expert by profession. I have the degrees, all those things, whatever that is necessary. I want to thank the team for this debate. I think it is the first in the history of Wajir County, and inshallah it will set the pace for what's next. I'm a humanitarian and a social activist as well. I'm a civil rights person, somebody who believes in human rights and civil rights. I'm somebody who stands for social justice and social mobility, especially upwards. The key things I want to deal with are the issues of ignorance, poverty, and disease. Those were the key things in 1963, the independence of this country, and we seem to have the same problems still existing. My key in terms of what I want to do in the county, in terms of being more specific, is improve governance, as was said. I want to create trust between the community and the government. Because if you lead right, you get the. I want to lead Wajir to where it needs to go. I want to lead and manage, not only lead, but lead and manage. I want to create a prosperous Wajir, a peaceful Wajir, and a happy and healthy Wajir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa Ugas Sheikh Mohammed. Now we'll go to Honorable Abdullahi Ali Kabir. Karibu. 2 minutes.
Assalamu alaikum. The name is Dr. Abdullah Ibrahim Ali, called Cabrera. I'm the current senator of Wajir. Professionally, I'm a medical doctor by profession, with Bachelor of Science degree in surgery and medicine. I'm a holder of MBA from Moi University. The other two are from Nairobi University. My career has been long. I've been a medical officer for some time. I became a member of parliament for Wajir North for 2 terms. I've been a commissioner with the Parliamentary Service Commission. I've worked as board director in several organizations in this country. And lastly, right now, presently, I am sitting senator for Wajir County. What do I want to do for Wajir? Precise and to the point. Number one, as my friend has said, good governance. What is that? Zero tolerance for corruption first. I want to eliminate corruption. I want to eliminate 10%. I want to eliminate 20%. Number one. Number two, Wajir water and sewerage. How to bring back the World Fund program, which has been there with the last 2 governors. Somehow, the first one somehow we have to give him credit for that, but he did not finish. The last one did not manage. I want to make sure that that thing works and Wajir has water and sewerage. Number 2, the health sector. Work on the hospitals from the so-called referral, which is not a referral. It's just a dead place here. Wajir General Hospital to make it to level 5. The other sub-counties to level 4. All his health centers and specialists to function. Last but not least is issue of livestock, which really needs to be not making commercialized, but you have to tell the people how to use livestock properly and range management. How can it be done? And done it properly. The last one is that we make sure that everything in Wajir works and people know that they come to work.
Thank you.
They don't come to eat.
Thank you, 2 minutes is over. Thank you very much, dear viewers and listeners. We have joined by so far 7 candidates: Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi, Honorable Ahmed Ali Mukhtar, Honorable Sirat Warfa, Honorable Mohammed Ilmi, Honorable Dr. Siyad Abdullahi, Honorable Ugas Sheikh Mohammed, Honorable Abdullahi Ali Cabrera. Thank you very much. Now we'll go to governance. As you have discussed, there is a very big challenge in Wajir County in terms of governance, and Hashim El-Mogi will take us through. Thank you. Welcome, Hashim.
Thank you, Sister Halima. Thank you for your quick introductions and sharing your 5 priority areas. The first question is on governance. And I'm glad that some of you have made governance your first priority. Your Excellencies, I will call you Your Excellencies because you are our potential governors. One of you, inshallah, on 9th August, will be announced as our governor, God willing. So, the Constitution of Kenya 2010 has been ablazoned to the entire country, and significantly northern part of Kenya. And under that Constitution, sovereignty has been given to the people, and they exercise it either directly or indirectly. And therefore, devolved governance under Chapter 11 is what has made county governments come into existence. And there is a legal framework for the county governance. We are dealing with gubernatorial debate of Wajir County today. We are dealing with potential governors. Rule of law is the first fundamental principle of governance. And to say the truth, we have had problems in compliance and adherence to the rule of law. We have had issues with human resource management. The wage bill is ever ballooning. I know, and I'm sure each one of you is going to be, appointing people. Every deputy governor will want his people employed. Every governor will want his people employed. For 2 terms now, that's what has been happening. Public participation has not been effective and meaningful. You know how bad state our procurement system is. Our pending bill is in billions, and we have always been accused of corruption. This ICT hall where we are has power disconnected for several months. That is how bad the situation is. My first question to your potential excellencies, how are you going to fix the governance issues and ensure compliance with the rule of law and strict adherence to the rule of law? Thank you.
As per order, yes. Dr. Sirat Warfa.
Thank you very much for that
Yes.
fundamental question. Yes, we know that foundation for Wajir governance was not placed in proper context. We know that. By electing Warfa as the incoming governor, a new foundation as an agent of change will take place, and governance will be for the people, by the people. We are therefore make sure that change will be resisted by corruption agents, by entrepreneurs, and others who are self-interested. I know if we are objective, if we are honest, if we are going to focus, my other colleagues who are trying to compete with me with withdraw after today, and they are going to line behind candidacy for the sake of Wajir, if they are honest and interested in Wajir County. Therefore, Wajir people know who can be effective. Somebody who has been in leadership, who has been placed, whether they have been county governors or ministers or MPs or senators, what is it they are going to do again that they have not done when they're in office? This baloney. Let's be honest to the public. Warfa has not been elected in any office so far, but his footsteps are in Tarbaj, they are in Habashoine, they are in Hodado, they are in Burder, they are in Abidjan, they are in Dib, to mention a few. We know that, correct? Therefore, Wajir people, I appeal to you to vote for your interest.
Professor, sorry please, how are you going to ensure compliance with the rule of law?
Yes, by having fundamental government I started with and putting a structure in place as a new foundation, we are going to have proper structure. And I say there will be resistance. We know the civil servants in the county are corrupted as those who lead them. We are therefore going to make sure that we change that and have a new foundation for Wajir. That's what I started with, sir. Therefore, to continue with what I was saying, Wajir will have a new face. Give Warfa an opportunity to change Wajir. And that foundation, sure it's a proper structure to ensure that we take care of the failure of the last two governments. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sirat Warfa. Honorable Elmi, 3 minutes, please.
Assalamu alaikum. I
Alaikum
think
salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
first, for you to know what to do with good governance, you have to know the 3 things that ail, or 4 things that ail our good governance. What are the things that do it? 1 is our clannism, not clan, clannism. Number 2 is corruption. Probably they interchange. One supports the other. And then the other one is the attitude or the knowledge of the person you elect. What experience do they have in government? Are they able to actually understand? And lastly, do they have actually the goodwill to do that? So the first thing is, in my view, to fix the governance issue is to follow the rule of law, as you say, devolve first, make sure there is a professional civil service in place. Anything below the chief, the CEC, the political appointees are professional civil service. They must be recruited as that. Every clan, every communities in Wajir must be in government, must be employees, but they must work as a professional civil service. They are not there for their clan, and that can be fixed by further devolving, making sure people do not go to their home areas the way it used to be in the civil service, and making sure that the civil servants, the head of departments do actually have the resources, which means they are AE holders. That's how it used to be. They have the autonomy and they know their job description and they're doing their job. The policymakers, the politician, that's the governor, the deputy, and his cabinet are supposed to set the direction, where how it's going, and actually supervise. Then the populace must be part of it. And therefore, the public participation in all the levels as prescribed by our laws must be adhered to. And then the next thing is that the technical team that is working there, that is the policy maker, they should be able to monitor and supervise. If the governor is the one issuing jobs, if he's the one issuing contracts, who do you complain to if things go wrong? The cabinet of the governor is supposed to be the place where the buck stops. And therefore, the professionals, and I'll just give an example. I was a district health education here. At that level, any head of department is able to get a small budget and actually bring more budget. So I wrote to UNICEF, you can bring major programs. Think of 50 AE holders in every sub-county and the chief officers that are here, all independent, knowing their roles and using their knowledge, their professional knowledge to bring and to take Wajir forward. So for me, that's where the governance starts. The clan is good. The first thing I will start with is we have a debate. We called and ask ourselves as Somalis, these are the
5 seconds.
That we must debate about the clan. It has a lot of good, and we must remove the clanism.
Over. Thank you. Thank you, Mheshimiwa. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ahmed, Honorable.
Question, please.
Yes.
Rebuttal after each person or after everybody speaks?
You can after or now if you have
Okay, thank you. I have. My respectable uncle, I am sorry. You just told us you have been 10 years member of parliament. Before that, we know you have been running Oxfam here in Wajir. You became a minister. My dear uncle, what is it that you are going to bring to Wajir when I was not elected and the time you are manager?
That banking.
It's rebuttal. You are manager. My president is there in Tarba, you have elected you for 10 years.
Professor.
Why don't we be honest with Wajir and tell us what is it that you are going to bring that you have not brought when you have been a minister for this number of years and MP? Thank you, sir.
Professor, please, all the politicians, let's please. Order, we are not supposed, please. We said don't respond. Please, if you have any question on governance issue that he has discussed, please direct that as at the bank. Thank you. Yes. Please, and it should not be direct attack to the individual, please. Just the topic of discussion, we do debunking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, let's give motion.
Okay, can I be heard?
Yes.
I'll be very quick. I think I have 3 minutes. Compliance with the rule of law. I think we already have, if we respect, enough checks and balances in the county and independent authorities to do the same also that exist. I know those independent offices in the national government mostly are not doing their work. Talk of the control of budget, talk of the office of the auditor general, talk of the anti-corruption. All these guys have failed their work because we very well know, and every person from this region, mostly in Wajir, know the mess that has been there in the county from the inception, not only this last time. None has responded to the pleas and the cries of Wajir people. I think those guys have failed their work. So first, that is something that lies with them. Secondly, we have enough checks and balances in the county. We have an independent monitoring and efficiency unit in the county. If given and facilitated enough, I believe we can do wonderful things. Projects are done. Projects that are not done are paid every time. When I came to office, the mess that I met is something that is, unheard of. Those things are very visible and could be fixed by those departments. They were not respected, and the staff were not facilitated to do their work. There is an audit office in the county itself. So we have enough. It's just a matter of giving them the autonomy and the independence to do their work very well. Secondly, as the governor, you just put the right people at the right place. You will be having chief officers, you will be having CECs. Make sure these are people that that have the right qualifications to do and attend to those works. And I believe this issue of corruption, this issue of nepotism or whatever you call clannism will be done.
Okay, I will interrupt you since you are the sitting deputy governor of Wajir County. What made you not to achieve all those? You have all the powers. You have been elected as the leader of Wajir County. Can you tell us, because you are the sitting deputy governor? Thank you.
Unfortunately, a deputy governor, unless you are given the power by your governor, you don't do much. You heard the first deputy governor of the county coming to the national TVs and complaining that he couldn't do a thing. I was equally the same. Unless the power, you're just like a spare tire. I was only used a spare tire, used only when the governor is switched. Thank you.
Thank you, Siat Abulai. Welcome.
Thank you very much. First of all, we are ethnic Somalis. We live in a county that's predominantly ethnic Somali. We have a saying that if two people are not telling each other the truth, they are accompanied by one other thing, which is generally then yes. I want us to be honest with one another. My vision 2050 for Wajir County is a very practical one that's based on taking from where we are now to 30 years from now. We cannot ignore this issue of clannism and sub-clannism. We don't just need to lie to ourselves or have a panacea that we are a Western global society. We are not. We are a pastoralist, highly ethnically segmented community. For us to get there, the first thing the governor needs to show is authenticity and credibility. That if the governor we elect shows that he's open and accessible to the youth, the women, the marginalized, the poor, and not having 50 askaris guarding him as if he's in a security zone, and then respecting the elders and talking to them, admitting their place of need, that's where we start. We start with authentic leadership that people can believe in. That's one. Second, we need to have inclusivity. If I just go and post jobs for merit-based government, and I elect and I find the 10 best people to be from one clan, everybody will come for my head. That's the practical reality we live in. We can't just post resumes and say the 10 best people will get the job. Each clan will say, oh my goodness, this man has done this. So we need a blended government, a government that's realistic and cognizant of our reality while modernizing our community. The other thing we need to do is we need tough, brave leadership. Someone who can go to our people and tell them, this is why I did this, and this is my rationale for doing it, while being inclusive. The other thing we need to do is a disciplined workforce. Ghost workers. We have people who are being employed by this county who live in Somalia. We all know this, but we need to have brave leadership. And then we need to focus on modernizing. We don't have an economy. We have a government-based economy. We need to modernize our pastoralism, and we need to have infrastructure in this town. Without power, we can't have light industries. Once we institute power, whether through solar or national grid, we can modernize our economy. The other final thing I want to say is civic education. If over time we educate our people that if you have good governance, you don't need your clan, it will take time. then maybe the governor who will come 3 terms from me will see the groundwork that I have laid for them. In terms of, and then showing the people that if you have a government that you can believe in, a
Thank
government
you.
that you can
Thank
trust,
you, Dr. Siat. Your time is
slowly
over.
end
Thank
this
you.
clannism
Thank
issue.
you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much. 3 minutes is over. Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi, I think you have the microphone with you. There's an, this one should be on this end so that we don't move a lot. Thank you. Welcome. 3 minutes.
Bismillah. I think in terms of fixing governance in management, there's something called the tone at the top. The culture of the institution would be given strategic direction by the tone at the top. So if you have a governor who is disciplined, who believes in the rule of law, who within the difficulties of our extremely parochial and ethnicized community tries to do the right thing for the right reason, the staff will also follow. So I think as governor, who started this county from scratch, I tried to set up institutions that respect the rule of law. I set up the County Public Service Board, set up all the institutions and organizations, set up the offices, and we were on to a good trajectory in my belief. So in a sense, and this is not only for the county, it's for every institution. If you get a company that is doing very well and a CEO, and you replace him with a hopeless CEO, it's going to crumble. The experience is the world over. And as far as clannism is concerned, it will be a fallacy to say that clannism started with the county government. When I inherited this county, the first function that was transferred to me was the county council. And there's no clan representation in the county council, and you know that. We all read Wajir. The other function that was transferred to me were the district heads and their various functions: agriculture, health, water. The district heads. There was no clan representation in that as well. You know that. In fact, the county was a blessing. The county was a blessing in terms of integrating people. The hospital system that I took over did not have anyone from Wajir South in the first 3 tiers of management: tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And what did I do? The first 3 positions in running the technical management of the hospital system, I made sure one was a Dogodier, and the 2 deputies, one was a Juran, the other was Ogaden. Those are not things you can run away from, because competent people are in all communities. So
Mheshimiwa, 3 minutes is over. Thank you very much. Honorable was Sheikh Mohammed, welcome. The microphone which was there at below, please, that microphone should be on that side so that the Mheshimiwa, they don't move around. Thank you. 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. I think the question was on issue of governance, on the issue of devolution chapter 11, legal framework, rule of law, compliance, HR wage bill, public participation, pending bills, and corruption. Those were the key issues that were highlighted. I want to differ first with my Elmi, clannism and corruption. The two, as far as I'm concerned, they're 2 independent things. Corruption is a personal issue, and clannism is something that, is also personal. And both of them have something to do with integrity. So on issue of clannism, I think integrity is the key thing that needs to be fixed. If you fix integrity from the top, then you have no much issues. Why? Because that integrity will help. Forget what EACC or other entities, what they're doing. That's not the point. The point is you and your God, you and your Lord, Who are you? Do you know your identity? I think that is the key thing. As far as I'm concerned, I have about 5 things I want to say will help with governance issues.
Can you summarize? It is already past 1 minute.
Public participation or public discussions on the state of the county on quarterly basis, both for county employees and for the public, is very important, because we need to discuss issues of clannism, we need to discuss issues of corruption, we need to discuss issues of service delivery. I think there should be a constant engagement on these issues. First of all, that's the first thing I will propose, and I think needs to happen. As was said, I want to empower the leadership from the CECs to the chief officers to the directors. Those 3 need to be empowered and they need to be held accountable. That is the key as far as I'm concerned. And sometimes we crack the whip and we call communities if needed to let them know that why we're doing what we're doing, and it's for the betterment of everybody here. The other one is regarding the wage bill. It is bloated. The HR system is messed up. We all know that. There are people who are outside of their offices, maybe out of the country, maybe somewhere else, some of them at home. A serious review is required to decide what's the next on that. We need to harmonize the HR issues for purposes of merit-based system. And we have done this in where we've worked in the past, where we know that, if you've been underemployed, you need to be moved up. If you've been overemployed, you need to be reallocated somewhere else. And you need to have inclusivity as well. That one is very essential, that we make sure that the HR system works for everybody, for all communities that live here, for minorities, for certain sectors of the community, by law and by religion, both of them. Law requirement and the fact for justice purpose. We need to fix headquarters first. We need to fix the county headquarters first. Once that is fixed, then we talk about devolving, and that's my preference.
Thank you,
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I add it? Mheshimiwa Abdullahi Ali Kapreta, thank you.
Thank you very much. The rule of law, as far as I'm concerned, we have no alternative. We just have to follow it. Anybody who breaks it goes home. Those are those people who are under my governor, who work under the governor. If they don't follow the rule of law, if they don't follow the law, they go home. That's number 1. That's the only way to do these things. If you don't do things, you hit the thing on the head, you will never solve this problem. Number 2, wage bill. Who ballooned it? The 2 former regimes. I'm sorry to say, but a governor has even done a human resource audit. And when he realized what is happening, he shelved it. He should not have shelved it. He should have implemented it. I will implement it personally to make sure that everything comes back to normal. So how do you, tribalism, we have to use it positively. We are tribal in nature. We have our clans. We have to live with it. So let's not lie to one another. Tribalism is there to stay, but we use it positively. How do you use it positively? Allocate resources equitably. From the ward level up to the constituency level, up to the county level. I don't believe in saying that we have to clean the county first. If the leadership is good, everything will be good. If you are corrupt and you know that your boss is not corrupt, you will not attempt to steal because you know you'll go home. So get a good leader who is corruption free, and the county will work proper. That's what I believe. And it can be done, and it will be done under my leadership if I'm given the opportunity. Decentralization, I believe in decentralizing the resources and even power. From the decentralized, we brought this thing from Nairobi. It has decided to stick here. And if we allow others to come back again or give new people who have that thinking, it will never leave Wajir. When will it go to Dif? When will it go to Arbijaha? When will it go to Hadado? When will it go to Mansa? You can't do it. So we have to make sure that we decentralize resources. We make sure that we format offices of the sub-counties, the wards, ward administrators, their offices to function. My brother here has built structures, which is very good, but there's no functioning structure. So we have to make sure that the human resource work in the areas of jurisdiction, everybody performs their duties. I hope I still have some minutes.
You have 15 seconds.
The other one is that I also want to bring about the first 100 days. I will do a Wajir Leadership Forum where we are going to discuss the problems of Wajir, and what comes out of that forum will be implemented. Issue of CECs and officers.
Thank
We have
you,
to be
Cabo.
competent.
Your time is over.
Equality.
3 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. Your time is over. Now you have discussed about the governance. The big elephant in the house is the pending bills of Wajir County. Currently, we have 5 billion. That is half of Wajir County budget, which is a huge amount of money that is missing from the public of Wajir. So 30 seconds. What plans do you have to offset the pending bills? Professor Warfa, welcome. 30 seconds, because you just tell us what you have as a one. Please. Okay, 1 minute, okay. Please. It is easy to say what you have. Don't give us stories. It is a pending bills. One only. Please.
I agree with you. About 5 billion.
5 billion.
5 billion.
Thank you.
But it should not have happened. The county or the government should do
Please, Mike, please.
It should not have happened. The government should budget and do projects what budget they have. It should not have happened in the first place. Secondly, I think I showed my intent.
Please reduce the volume. Please. Yes, okay, thank you. You are done. Please. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I think I showed my intent of dealing with the pending bills in the county in the last 9 months that I was there. It budget with over 1.4 billion to offset part of the pending bills. And I believe, first I agree with Amy, you will need to authenticate all these projects, whether they were done or not. Some are partially done, some are complete, some are not even done. We need to authenticate them, then see and plan how we can pay and clear in the next 5 years.
Thank you, Dr. Siat. Yes. Please, Mike, your mic is on. Confirm, yes. Up.
First, we have a 5 billion problem in a 1 minute time. This shows us some lack of seriousness on the problem. This is probably the largest crisis happening to this county, because whoever you elect, unless they have a radical leadership, is likely to balloon it even further. It's 5, it will be 7. First thing, I agree, we authenticate what has been done, and we use an outside Wajir firm so that no one is accused of favoring a clan. We bring in someone like KPMG or Pricewaterhouse or someone who knows how to audit these projects, and you add them with a Wajir person, but give it a respectful authenticity that someone else looked at these jobs. Were they actually done? First. Secondly, come up with an equitable plan of paying those small businesses who have been affected by this problem.
Thank you.
No, and thirdly, explain your rationale to the people so they understand what you're saying and why you're saying.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ahmed Abdullahi. Thank you. Welcome. This mic there, please. Thank you very much. We agreed later, that is what the members are saying, please. We'll revert later.
I will do it within my time.
Okay.
Secretary, I want to inform you that my administration had one of the best mixes of recurrent and current expenditure for any county in Kenya. I was at 58% to 42 for development to recurrent. That tells you how I manage the payroll. And in as far as the pending bills are concerned, it's very, very simple. Government is a perpetual succession. Genuine debts are liabilities of the incoming government. They'll be paid.
Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Uwais Sheikh Mohammed.
I think the question.
Talking, please go ahead. Use this one.
The question that's been asked regarding the pending bill, I think that's a temporary problem. God willing, you use common sense. You have a problem, how do you fix it? You look at it, authenticate it, find out what can be trimmed, get the rest, cascade it, 1, 2, 3, 4, come up with a formula. There's no rocket science here. And number 2, don't repeat the mistake. I think that's generally what we need to do. Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you very much. Dr. Karibu.
Thank you. I think the one of the pending bill has been mentioned.
Yes.
The issue is authenticate, give out the genuine ones. The ones which are half done, deal with it. The ones which are air, throw it out. Simple and straightforward.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much. That is why I said 30 seconds I used. Thank you. Now we'll go to water. Water is life, and we have very big challenge, please, of water scarcity in Wajir. Currently, as we are speaking, all the shallow wells have dried. 45 health centers are receiving water tracking in Wajir County. Please, the other issue is sewerage system. We don't have proper waste management. How do you want to achieve that? What plans do you have for Wajir when it comes to water? Thank you. You can start, Mheshimiwa Ahmed Abdullahi. Thank you. Go this way. Where's the mic, Dr. Kabu?
How many minutes do you have? 3 minutes. No. It's okay. In water, you very well remember at the International Water Week, I think it was in 2016, my administration then was recognized for having made the best investment in water by any county in Kenya. And I was appointed symbolically
the water ambassador of Kenya. As a result of the pumps and boreholes and the water infrastructure that we invested in, I inherited 82 boreholes. I did 165 successful boreholes across this county. The World Bank project that of here was the initiative of my administration after the previous national government pull water from Habaswein was frustrated through social dynamics. We got $70 million from World Bank, which was part grant, part tied credit to fix the water and sewer system of Wajir. Had I been in office these 5 years, because it was my proposal that won that, I knew what I wanted to do, I will have fixed it, I will do it if I can.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You are finished with 2 minutes, 1 minute, 20 seconds. Thank you. Ahmed.
Thank you. Water is life, as you said. And Wajir County is, and it's not to everybody. It needs to be fixed. And I believe it can be done. I agree with our brother. He did a bit when he was here. But I have in the 165 boreholes that were done. I went into the files and went through Wajir County. I wish you could share the boreholes you done in those 5 years. That notwithstanding, I also went to a number of, invested a lot in water. But what was the outcome? There are a number of water plants that were done, over 60 million of them, that has never retained the water for a day. Go to Sokola, over 15 million Kenyan shillings of the people of Wajir invested, and it has never held water for a day. That is not an investment.
Governor, you are being personal. Please come back to what, how you will handle water in Wajir County.
We need to tackle the issue of water strategically. It is not only a matter of, doing plans and the boreholes. First, where are we doing the boreholes? We are creating settlements every single day, stretching and stressing the limited resources we have. We only need to tackle the existing villages and forget about these mushrooming small settlements that are coming up every single day. If we start drilling boreholes in villages where there are only 2 households, you will not solve the issue of the water problem in Wajir. I think in the 9 months we were here, we dug 18, 2 of them drive 16 successful ones that I can all name. All of them are done in existing taps that have no water. So I think the issue of the public participation will come in play here. We will consult and sit with the people of Wajir and ask them what their need of water is. That is how we will solve. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Sirat Warfa. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam. After 10 years of devolution, we shouldn't be discussing issue of water in Wajir problem. We shouldn't. It shows 10 years of failure. Therefore, those who fail us should not be claiming leadership. That's to begin with. As for what I'm going to do, ask people of Tarbaj, ask people of Burner, ask people of Dif. When I was elected, by looking to Wajir water problem, I made what I was able to do with limited non-profit community-based agency. If I can see the problem, I can fix it at that level by managing the county government, by using my international resource connection. I will be bringing more resources to Wajir from outside than what the national government is doing, and with that, I'm going to solve problem of Wajir water problem within 5 years. You people of Wajir, and if these are the elite of Wajir, forget about whom you are working for. Forget about which you are riding in. Think about Wajir and how you can fix the problem without favorism, without colorism, without bias. We need to build foundation. 10 years was wasted. Nobody say anything. Thank you.
Professor, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
وعليكم السلام. مشروع علمي كريم.
For me, water is for different purposes, our livestock and our settled populations. And the production of water is a very technical thing. If you have engineers in charge of the sub-counties, they will get the proposals, they will get additional consultants, and over time, we should be able to fix water for livestock separately, water for settlements where the water is salty, there is a technical solutions. That will be sorted out by a devolved system where you have given them the money and expect that to be sorted out. Then there is a major problem of Wajir town and the major settlements which have a water problem. Again, there are other technical solutions like Wajir. The proposals are, everything is in place. The sewage of Wajir, our ministry got little money. I know people have been putting things in social media. They did the piping. Phase 2, they did the 22 kilometers of laying the pipes, and then before they could finish, devolution came, and that function was transferred. There was money, 3 billion grant to come from water for Raswin, for Lagbogol, to Wajir, at the cost of 2 shillings per 20 liter. And that project died in between the changeover. So what I'm saying is, money is out there. You don't even, for Wajir, fixing Wajir, you don't have to use the water, the money of the county. And there are enough waters, different parts of this county that can fix it. And within the first year, we should be able to fix both the sewage and the drinking water. The issue that we should start seriously thinking about is we have a huge pastoral population, expanding livestock base, and I like the idea that we should have a socio-economic I think 50 and we must think beyond that. Fix not the water, our health system, our livestock system, commercializing our livestock, all those, because you can't think of water without thinking livestock, without thinking about droughts, without thinking the damage it will to the grazing areas, and therefore we'll need a master plan for Wajir, not Wajir town, for the health for water. Thank you.
Mheshimiwa, welcome.
You know, we have to admit that we have had missed opportunities. You know, I am hearing, 3 disappear through a transfer process. I'm hearing a bit of boreholes. We've had massive missed opportunities. First thing we need to do, 45 health centers, we need to give them immediate priority. The first 90 days, whether it is boreholing those centers themselves, or whether it is water tracking paid for by the government, we need to treat this as an immediate crisis. We have young women having labor and delivery at those centers with no water and also with no healthcare service. Secondly, we need to map our population. The 6 sub-county headquarters and the Wajir town itself. We need a 2-year plan because we can't do this within months. We need a 2-year plan of how to water those major centers where our population is. We need to geomap where the people are and where the water is. Then we need a long-term plan. What is the long-term plan? We are a pastoralist community. We have livestock moving from place to place. We need to do mobile health water tracking until when we have permanent water for them. Finally, we need not to waste resources. Between the county and the national government, there is massive amounts of money, just as you can tell from the previous speakers. We need to allocate it appropriately and use scientific functional methods to find where our people are. We have technology. Nobody is using geostatistic data to find where our people are moving and water track them along those roads. We have people individually here who have been paying for water tracking in the current drought. I personally and many others have put millions into giving water to our people. That should be done by the government, not by individuals, not just by the mosques or us as individually. So we first feel where our people are, geomap them, use technology as a short term to get them water. Long term, we need permanent water source that's piped in this town and in the 6 sub-county headquarters. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sheikh Mohammed, karibu. Time is not also on your side.
Thank you very much. I think the issue here has not have water today is because of a lack of trust between government and the people. That is the main issue. And that issue needs to be fixed. We should find a way to create trust, and that engagement, public participation, direct engagement, as I said, quarterly meetings to discuss what needs to be done. You know, our water system, as we speak, settlements are big. I agree. We need to find a way to curtail further settlements first. And this will come out of the discussions we're going to have as a community on quarterly basis, inshallah. The other issue is we have tenderpreneur, contract-driven water collection dams, or even the other ones. So we need to find, the issue is, let's get the humanitarian of ourselves first. Let's become human beings. Let's think about why you will construct a dam that costs 40 million shillings and water never collects in that dam. You tell me why. It's because you're not thinking. The first priority for me as a governor is, yes, you get what God has written for you out of a contract, but it must serve the purpose. And the other one is, we have water. Some of it is usable for human consumption, some is not. There's water everywhere. But the question is, I agree with him, and I'm a technology guy. Geospatial, geomapping, invest in where there's drinkable water identification, find where there is other water, find uses for the other water, and get the drinkable, the regions where there's drinkable water, and pipe them. I am committing to investing, bringing national government resources and international resources. They were there before, but we never made use of them. We have the Rekfei project, we have the Lambib issue, we have the Habaswein issue, we have all those things in our fingertips, but we have failed to make use of them. So bring those resources and through the Ministry of Water or other agencies, and let's get water to the people of Wajir. It's a priority issue. Water is life, as has been said. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dr. Kabu, welcome.
Thank you. I'm neither a technologist or water expert. I'm just a simple medical doctor and a politician. But the way I see it, as we have been told, we have wasted 10 years and even before a lot of resources on water. Let me just ask a simple question as a layman. What about if I build a very big dam, not these small so-called mega dams, 60 and 50, which 3/4 of them go to the individuals? What about I build a dam in either Shantabak here, between Shantabak and Gerufto, or Lagbogol, which is killing our people every year twice or 3 times, and I put 500 million there and pipe that water here? How long will that take? Simple. If within 1 year, half of that dam will be full. Within the second year, the water will overflow. And you can easily pipe. I will, of course, the technical experts to help me how it can be. But that's a layman's question, and it's very easy to manage. We start talking of Habaswein and Lambib and where there's a lot of mistrust and a lot of. But even there, it will come. But you have to do it properly. The trust has to be there, which I agree. So that one can be done. After that, when you do these issues immediately, then you can think of the other ones in the long-term plan. Of course, you have to do all these things. We have running water every year in, year out. When we get rains, what happens? We can't walk even in Wajir itself. So why can't we make use of this? They are experts. We have a lot of experts from Wajir who can, within the first 100 days, I say, I give them a consultancy. I have them, can you give me a report which is authentic, which can be taken to all organizations, the government agencies, and the county government, and working together, we can resolve that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, we'll go to education, and we'll start from Dr. Kabu, since we started on the right. Just sit. Hashim Elmoga will take us through the question on education. Thank you.
Thank you, potential governors, in the good manner you have conducted yourselves. I also thank the participants for their patience and for having behaved well up to now. This question is on education. You know education is light. You know education is why you are here. Had you not been educated, you would not have been vying for this. none of you will have been applying to be our CEO. Education develops the hidden faculties and potentialities of people. Our education sector is honestly ailing. There is teachers shortages in our schools, and because of non-locals who have run away due to the effects of violent extremism. For 6 decades since Kenya's independence, this is the only region struggling to achieve self-sufficiency in teaching. It is a disappointment. Governor Ahmed, when we were in school, you remember all our teachers were 3 decades later, we're having shortages. So how do we address teachers shortages in our schools? Because we have billions at our disposal, and it really pays not to have teachers at the schools. The lame excuse being given is that teachers have joined the county government. Teachers are professionals who have the right to look for greener pastures, but we can replenish the stock. We have been very poor in that regard. I want to ask each one of you what plans you have in addressing teacher shortages in our schools. Thank you. Let me start with Dr. Kapu. 2 minutes, please.
That's a very hard question, and it's not easy to answer, so I don't know. 2 minutes. But one, education is not devolved. We have to be frank about that. Education is a national issue. That one is not only for the governor to talk about it, it is for the national leadership of the county, from the MPs who will be elected, the county, the senators, and the governor.
Maybe you can tell us TVET and CD, which is the mandate of the county government.
I will answer the question the way I was asked. I will answer the question, and he specifically talked about the national aspect of it, because he was talking of teachers who disappeared from here during the Al-Shabaab issue, and they ran away. That is a national government issue. Let me finish, Hashim. Please don't interfere. My 2 minutes. And the ones you have interfered with, you replenish. What I want to do as a governor, if I get the opportunities, make sure that I give the incentives to the local youth who are staying at home, who have the qualifications, who can go to the colleges. I will pay their bursary for the 3 years they're supposed to be in colleges. And the national government, we will interfere as national leaders to make sure that TSC has already changed according to the manifesto of Azimio. If we follow that, they will allow us to downgrade the level of the people who can go to the colleges. If that happens, then we will engage all our youth here to go to colleges. I will undertake to make sure that I pay for anybody who's interested to go for teaching. And after we finish the teaching, then they will involve the Ministry of Education plus TSC to post all those teachers here. That's number one. When it comes to the one which is under the county government, ECD, I am happy and grateful to say that at least I was with Malimi yesterday in the plane and we were talking, and he has confirmed to me that the ECDs now have they're in the scheme of service, that they are permanent and pensionable. And whatever else he did, I don't know, but the last 9 months, at least that is a credit to him, because he's the one who accepted to do that. So once these ones are there, we will help them.
Your 2 minutes is up, Dr. Sorry, you have 2 minutes over.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Thank you, Dr. for the briefing question. Thank you for the briefing answer. Thank you for the briefing answer.
Thank you very much.
The part of incentivization that you mentioned is a county aspect, despite education by national government function.
I think let's leave the question as you've asked. I think the question is clear. We have shortage of teachers. We have poor education outcomes and access both. So that's the question as far as I understand. Now, the issue of many settlements, this comes down to the issue of education too, isn't it? I think that's part of the problem. We need to have a discussion on that issue, on how to integrate so that you have enough teachers in zones, because the unending expansion or more settlements will lead to what? Less teachers all the time, number one. Number two, I think as a governor, I will actually push for legislation to give more money to the teachers that come from this region, because of the fact that we have a problem and it needs to be fixed. Up to that point, there used to be hardship allowance or this and that, but I think we need to push also legislation that fixes the gap, first of all. I think that is the important part. I think the issue of Azimio saying that, we want to, lower the grade. They refused yesterday, so don't give us that. That's terrible, Wajir. You know that. That is, they rejected it the other day. That was already a proposition. It already, minister had approved it. It had almost worked. I know many people here worked on it, and it was, but now it becomes a campaign promise. So that's not bad thing right now. The final thing I want to say is teachers need, I know there are efforts to sponsor teachers, to provide more opportunities for teachers. There's also the issue of more teachers joining the county government. Under my leadership, the county employees who are teachers are going to be involved in teaching somehow. I want to also propose that, God willing, because we need to go back. If you're not going to give the service, you're going to get the pay anyway. We're going to pay you. In fact, we'll give you an additional allowance for the fact that you're teaching. So it's good to go back to the class instead of, not doing much in county offices. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. First, let's start with this. It's not just a teaching issue. I'm told some of the ECD teachers have been absorbed, not all of them. Not all of them. So I make a thing. Second, I'm also told they are all back pay and back benefits, and we'll look at that. And we'll make sure we try to accommodate that. What we need is Wajirians to take education seriously. We are all here sitting as upper middle class, and it's the poor peoples, the families that have significantly been left out. We need to, as a governor, to have a strategic plan about education, not just teachers, infrastructure. Our schools have no doors, donkeys and dogs are walking through the streets. Our kids are hungry. You can't study when you're hungry. So we need to feed them. We need to get back money into feeding kids. We also need to deploy technology. I'm going to provide Google tablets for every classroom. It's very inexpensive to give a kid Wi-Fi in the classroom and give a Google tablet. They can have Khan Academy and teach math, even in the remotest places. It's been done in North Africa, it's been done in Tunisia, we can do it. Finally, this is a leadership crisis. What we're having is a leadership crisis. A pep talk, but no seriousness about education. If the governor is going to visit primary schools and secondary schools and sit and eat with these kids, they'll start seeing what's going on in our schools. 2 days ago, I was approached by an upcountry teacher, a downcountry teacher, and I gave her $10,000 in a remote place near Korondile because she was crying, because this is a Kamba woman crying about her kids, that she doesn't have textbooks. I gave her 10,000 shillings. I was embarrassed. I said, use this money to buy books and pencils when we have a current government. And that's what I want to challenge my brothers with. If you're part of a government that has done that, you ought to resign. You can't pass the buck. You can't say because I was in this position, that position. If something is that bad, you ought to leave it and not have your name associated.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. The question is teachers. It's something we've grappled with a few months. We've talked with the governors. There's a simple fix between, I've talked to a number of heads of departments. We are allowed to have an agreement with the national government, TAC and that. My initial simple solution is to put 240 million every year and give that money to the headmasters. They recruit school-based teachers, holiday-based teachers that, who learn teaching. While they are teaching, every holiday they go for their teaching, and they are supported by the school through the money that we give to the schools. And I believe it's a deal we can reach with TSC, and we employ 1,000 teachers. Immediately I come in, and in 3-4 years, we'll have hopefully enough teachers. But the problem is more than that. There's an attitude problem about teachers, which came a few years ago, where people were shining to join teaching. They thought teaching is not a good profession. We need to work on it. We need to bring the respect of teachers back to our community. We need to work with the incentives like housing for the teachers in the remote places, where there are no good housing. So we retain teachers. We need to fix the problem of between Tuksi, Madrasa, and the schools, because Madrasa system is taking a lot of people and it's not recognized. We should find a mechanism to have it recognized. Not our ECD and Tuksi are doing almost the same function. I believe a permanent solution can be found if we bring the experts together, so the children can learn the Quran, but also learn other things, so that the children are not overburdened between those ones. I'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I come in by September, we'll have 1,000 teachers in schools, inshallah.
Thank you, Governor Elmi. Professor Fa. 2 minutes.
And since these 6 honorable members given 2 minutes each, then the only professor in the room should be given 12 minutes, right? Now, you're asking professor about education. Let me give you a little of his history. During his time, primary school used to be 7 years. He finished 5 years and he was #1 in NFD. Do you guys know NFD? No. He was #2 in Kenya and was sent to Nairobi. Those days, we never used to say we are going to Nairobi, take on Mombasa, we say we are going to Kenya. Remember that? Some of you don't. Now, coming to the fundamental question, I ask Wajir one simple question. How come we are told non-Wajirians are running as teachers from Wajir, but all other non-Wajirians are here? Why? Whether they are border, whether they are mail roasters, whether they are hoteliers, whether job they are doing, mechanics, everyone is here. They almost half of the 3/4 of the population of Wajir. Why is the question? Because of poor leadership. Poor leadership. Education is fundamental. We can fix it. Why can't the county create a budget for the teachers such that we encourage our children to take teaching as a profession by giving them additional salary on top of what they earn nationally? Why not? This is a simple question. It doesn't need complex answers. We can fix it, and Professor Urban is going to fix it. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor. Governor Ahmed, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. The issue, education is light, as you said. And Wajir schools have actually the highest percentage when it comes to shortage of teachers compared even to the neighboring counties. How do we fix it? I think first is mentorship programs for our youth who are graduating from secondary. We need an attitude change towards teaching. None or few are ready to do education. So I think secondary graduates must be given mentorship programs. Secondly is the issue of scholarships for those going for education courses. The county can do it, and we gave 100 million the 9 months that were there to vulnerable students, but we had a special amount for those who are doing teaching. So I think we will only top up that amount and make sure all those going for teaching courses are covered for free, mostly their tuition. I don't think whether it is practical to employ 1,000 teachers from the county covers. That is a campaign promise that will not see the light of the day. It is impractical. Where will you pay that money? Already the wage bill of the county is ballooning. We are eating into the development budget of the county. We are using 42% of the county money to pay employees. You can't afford more than that. So I believe what we can do is scholarship for students, and of course private for those who can afford passion. We just give them bursary, top up their fees and finish what they're working. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor Ahmed. Governor Ahmed, 2 minutes.
Yeah, by way of rebuttal, you know, you're not giving us time to rebut, so we'll have to spend the time we have.
Okay, so
I want to tell my brother that there was a geospatial chart in the where the borders are, and one of them is in the village that he comes from. I pulled water for deep from 18 kilometers. Now, as far as education is concerned, we have to deal with the source of the problem. The source of the problem is that our kids don't meet the grade to go to teaching colleges. I agree with Professor on one thing. And when I finished primary school here, in the ranking of then, Wajir was number 18 out of 36. We are mid-table. Yeah? So that means that we used to produce kids who can be transited. We need to work on our primary schooling. We need to work on our secondary schooling to deal with that. Whoever said they will have 1,000 teachers in 100 days is intellectually dishonest. They are not teachers to employ. They are not teachers to employ. Even TSC is looking for teachers from here to employ. I am thinking it might be a good idea to set up a teacher training college here that might actually encourage our kids to go to teacher training. We saw that with the MTC. Now we have a surplus of nurses. And as far as the devolved aspect of education is concerned, ECDs, we used to provide food in our ECDs. We used to provide learning materials, including even the plasticine for modeling. Now the teachers have to buy chalk, right? As a result of mismanagement by the administration that came after me. So we will fix these things. As governor, I used to pay fees for every Wajirian who gets an admission into any primary teaching college in Kenya. There was some entrepreneurial young men who set up at private training college here,
Governor Ahmed, your
and
time
we
is
used
up.
to pay fees for everyone who's in there. We'll do the same.
Thank you, Governor Ahmed. Okay. 30 seconds, Governor Elmi, 30 seconds.
From Liban, you will see the headmaster there, the students of him and created teachers. What I was proposing, I thought of 240 million that you allocate against each child every month so that the headmaster will get, as we speak, the parents are paying money from foreign leaders in the school who are doing teaching. So take the burden from the parents. Ask every headmaster that if he gets one child who is doing teaching, holiday-based teaching, you will give 20,000 per month. He will save some of the money, he will pay the college, and it's been done. It's practical. I've done it with my CDF in Ahmedabad, and you will find the teachers, the local teachers there. So by making money available, and it's only 240 million, and it is the most important thing for our people, you will get more young people where the headmasters will be responsible for getting them. You will give them money, and that's why I said you will have an agreement. He said it's illegal. It's not. You will have an agreement between national government and the county government, and it's allowed in the constitution. Thank you.
Not to respond to his question, I just wanted to tell Dr. Siat, those who are not absorbed were because of the qualifications. We are not selective absorbing. It's just because of the qualifications that they are not absorbed.
Thank you. Dr. Kabu, you had a rebuttal? Thank you.
You know, speaking of intellectual dishonesty, I think the intellectual dishonesty actually comes from our brothers who have been part of this government. Because we're discussing some serious fundamental problems that could have costed some little money. The reason why the first government likes to brag about some of these things is because the second government was a complete disaster. Right? Had there been a decent or even above average government following them, they would not have had the luxury to make these claims.
Thank you, Dr.
Both governments have failed, and that's why we should not recycle leaders. Thank you very much.
I think we said we should not be personal.
It's not personal, but I'm going to address, if I address issue where I was talking before, it's not personal. It's the office, it's a subject matter, it's an issue based. But when we intellectual dishonesty, I have to ask simple question. If I am not a teacher, or if I'm not a veterinarian, and I call myself veterinarian, is that something to be arrested or not? In terms of this one, is right? I want to ask Siad Abdullahi, Honorable Siad Abdullahi, where do you get the title doctor? Where do you get the title doctor? Simple question.
Professor,
that's no.
Please.
You mentioned intellectual dishonesty.
Order.
When somebody calls himself a title he or she does not hold, I'm going to lecture about intellectual dishonesty. We have to address that issue.
Order. No. Dr. Siad, don't respond. Order, Professor Warfa. Questioning the qualifications of somebody is being personal. We will not go that direction. Help. Order, Professor. Order, Professor. Thank you. I will now hand over the mic to my colleague Halima, and the question will be on the health sector. Halima, welcome.
Thank you, please. Let us be orderly, we don't have time. I know we have discussed health as your priority, but I want to ask you a few questions with 2 minutes each. Please, we don't have time, then we'll go to Kisomali so that you can convince the pastoralist people in our county who are listening to you. As we are speaking currently, 45 health centers are not operational in Wajir facilities, of which each was built at a cost of 5 million shilling. How will you achieve or operationalize? Number two, we have good numbers of medical doctors in Wajir County, but their hands are tied out. They don't have all the equipment they need. We have 10 consultants in Wajir County. All of them, they have completed their studies, came back to serve Wajir County. 10 of them, we are not filling their services. Reason, they have tool of work. Number three, partner health is speaking. 16 primary health care facilities, only 66 are supported by the leader. For the last 4 years, the rest has not been supported. What is your take and how do you want health facility to be operational in 2 minutes time? Thank you. Someone is asking mortuary for minority on these questions, please. Mheshimiwa, karibu.
I want to tell my brother not to be pained when I campaign on the basis of what I did. I'm a realist. I did clean things. I'm not trying to herd camels using drones. Right? Some people will take 4 years to understand what's going on. I'll leave that at this. And in as far as healthcare is concerned, I want to assure the panel here, within my first 100 days, every facility, be it a primary health facility, be it a healthcare center, any hospital of whatever nature that is not functional will be staffed, equipped, and will be operational. It's very simple to do it. I inherited 37 facilities which were done under CDF. Within a very short time, we were able to equip them. The consultants you talk about are the people that I sent during my time, mostly. We used to pay for their fees and we gave them paid leave with a bonding agreement that when they complete, they will come back and work for the county for a certain period. Why the consultants are feeling underutilized is because we have not yet upgraded the hospital to a level 5. The requisite condition for upgrading was to have the MTC. The next thing was to expand the hospital facility. I had even negotiated with the police station here. I had given them the houses of the LMD. Those houses were supposed to come down. The remaining land of the hospital, which was not grabbed, was supposed to be fenced together, and we were supposed to put superstructures. And there was a equity funding of about $10 million, I think it's about $1 billion shilling, which was under the national government, it's a national government project, which lapsed as a result of corruption by the national government, a dispute between the consultants and the Ministry of National. If I come back within a year, I'm making a promise to the people of Wajir. Within 12 months, Wajir level 4 hospital will be a level 5 hospital, inshallah.
Thank you.
Health is a very evolved volume, and health formation is a wealth formation, as they say. I think if we work on the issue of health in the county, we have done a lot for the people of Wajir. There are 44 or 46 non-functional dispensaries across the county. You ask yourself a question, why were they built in the first place? Because there was no public participation and people were not considering, or the county was not considering the priority of the people. You build a dispensary where there is need, and when you know you have the budget to operationalize, so are many others. Fish produce markets, social halls across the country that were built and have staff we have. When I was there, we moved out of the payroll about 18 nurses who are out of, not the county, the country. The dispensary in Salarima, for example, is closed. A relative of mine went to Canada, got a visa, got a, what do they call it, the green card? Went to Canada, I was withdrawing salary from the county. And when I came, in like a month, salary was stopped. So about 16 hours. We had to replace those, at least I saw an advert where there will be no recruitments done. So a good percentage of the staff drawing salary from the county in the health sector are not for the people of Wajir County. I'll therefore restore order and make sure every person drawing salary from the county will work for the people of Wajir.
Over.
And make
Time is over, Mheshimiwa. Thank you very much.
how soon?
Thank you. 3 minutes is over. Thank you, Professor Orfa. 2 minutes.
Thank you, madam. And it's very simple question for me in the sense, when we realized there was a drought on the horizon in this region, I revived a non-profit which is registered in USA, in Ethiopia and Kenya. I wrote a grant proposal for $4 million. I got a letter of support from the Office of the President, from the Office of Devolution, Ministry of Devolution, and also from Honorable Ahmed Mukhtar Were here in his office. He also wrote a letter of support when he was in the office, correct? Therefore, that issue addresses health, water, and women issue and youth issue. Pray to God that we get that money before we sit in office. We may start solving the problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you. I think health is both complex but also very straightforward. There's a WHO, Kenya agreed standards. What is level 5? What is level 4? What is level, a dispensary? Dr. Ali here was an MOH, so he knows. What we are lacking, I think people are not saying, is how they will do things. If you have an MOH in Hadasway, it is his job to make sure that all those facilities, while they are closed, he will decide what is the distance, he will place the ambulances at the right place, and it's a standard. It is known. I've been a member of the DHMT or health. So let's not argue about it. What we promise is that we'll get the health system working according to the standard set by Kenya for health service within the first 100 days. With the resources we have the doctors, we have those, and there are a lot of willing partners. The thing that has really destroyed the health service here is one, bad management, two, corruption, because a lot of health donors across the country, health is largely funded by donors. But because of corruption, they pulled out a number of them. So once you make sure every MOH and there is a technical team to supervise, you will fix the health system using the standards that are there.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa.
You know, 5 health centers that have come up several times. The issue boils down to leadership. We actually don't have a capacity problem. We have a leadership problem. The governor's job is the CEO's job. It's having resource allocation skills and leadership skills. What we need, we have excess consultants. Just think about this. We have excess of consultants and no nurses and midwives. Just think about that. You know, it's an overproduction of one thing that you don't have even the capacity to use, and a lack of the things you actually need. So I will have a 100-day plan to completely audit our health sector, from the so-called referral hospital to the lowest dispensary. We are going to staff them. So we need to have staff, and then we need to have basic medications in those facilities. 3, we need to have a referral process that's functional. Every one of these facilities must have an ambulance service that's functional, that can get our patients to the main hospital. So this is the issue, is resource misallocation. We don't have a capacity problem, we have a resource misallocation problem. We have overproduced consultants and have no mid-level practitioners and nurses at these facilities. Then we need water. So you need to have a complete functional health center that have medications, that have staff, that have water, and have security, so that down-country employees are not running away. If you do that, within 100 days you can achieve this. I think what you cannot achieve
is having this hospital be elevated to the level that's been promised in 12 months. I think that's impractical. And that's what we need to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think on my part, I will propose that first of all, we make the Wajir County Referral Hospital into and this is a legislative framework issue, we make it into an independent, semi-autonomous, we make it into a prostatal, led by a board, run by a CEO competently with all the powers. First of all, we start with that. Number two, I think we've gone through what ails Wajir County health system under the current regime. Actually, I have a long list of issues. There are just too many. From the units, the renal units, to the radiography units, to these units, to that units, all of them are either underpowered, understaffed. There's a problem. Actually, we don't have a building problem. We don't have a structure problem. We have an equipment and expertise problem. That is what we have. And I think that's, first of all, we need to invest. My former governor, sorry to say, they've invested in the hardware. We need to start thinking of the software. That's where the problem is. Number two, I believe if you fix the issues of drug delivery, you fix the issues of pilferage and corruption, you staff morale, because there is a problem between Afia House and the main hospitals. You know, people have been moved where they're not supposed to be moved. There's a lot of issues. In the first 100 days, I'm going to propose a task force to actually give me a report on exactly what we need to do in order to, and I promise the people of Wajir that I am going to implement that report, because it is not business as usual. We have an ailing health system. We don't have a money issue. Trust me, the problem is not money. I remember the grift issue where, you know, the staff AIE issues fixed half of the problem. So it's very sad. You know, for me, something like that is just a humanitarian issue at that point. It's very sad. So what I will propose is that we get the task force, the first 100 days, we get a plan, we get expertise in, we prostatalize the level 5. I agree, we make it a level 5, we prostatalize it, we put the legislative framework in place, and we get competent people. Our brothers who are in health at the national level, including my secretary and others, I want them to actually now give us an opportunity to help. I think I would suggest, I'm sorry, just give us an opportunity to
Yes, later.
stop at midway.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much. I will be as brief as possible. GK,
Please. Listen, not
and these are, as far as I'm concerned, this is something which can be resolved within the first 2 weeks. Why? Professionals are in place.
Thank you.
I'm already instructed them to do the job. What is required for the health sector? If, as he said, Wajir Referral Hospital is not a Wajir Referral Hospital, as I said before. The CEO does not have an AIE. He has no authority to use his money. Somebody else from finance or somebody else has to sign for him. That is wrong. If you give the chief officer and the CEO the right to do what they're supposed to do, and also to take care of their staff, this is something which can be solved. As you said properly, look at the Wajir, so-called Wajir Referral Hospital. You go to the male ward, how many beds are there? You go to the female ward, how many beds are there? You go to pediatric or the maternity, how many are there? What consultant, even one MOH, one medical officer is command that place. You have 10 consultants. You are underusing them. You are frustrating them. Their morale will be down. The MOH, their morale are down. The health staff, their morale are down. Why? This has nothing to do with anything else. It's management. It's leadership. Simple. Allow these people to perform their duties. Give them what they need, and all these health facilities can be functional within 2 weeks. You have a staff here. You have a whole place called Afia Center, Afia House. When the hospital, there are no buildings. There are no roads. There's no nothing. So there are problems, as we have said. So these things can all be resolved if we make use of the staff we have, and you don't need rocket science to deal with them. The people in the ministry or the people...
15 seconds.
Sorry, I'm going to finish 1 minute.
15.
You give them, you allow people to perform their duties. They have the know-how. They have everything they can do. Give them the space, and everything will be managed. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we will tell you. I have a slight follow-up on what His Excellency Governor Ugas said. Governor Ugas, we have had bad experiences with bots in our county. So I'm a bit skeptical whether there will be efficiency and effectiveness in terms of service delivery when you proselytize the hospital and then you give jobs to the boards to do that. How do you want to go about it?
Thank you. Thank you. I was talking, the boards are a reflection of the county government itself. If the boards are competitive with the right people, and I'm talking about our national brothers who have always wanted a way to help the healthcare system in Wajir, those experts who all live in hospitals, some of them, I want them to be on that board and meet quarterly to come and recruit CEOs. I want them to be the one who are oversight function in this thing, and we'll give them that autonomy through legislation.
Just add to that, you're told like when you allow the county district, you used to have health management boards in the hospitals. Right now, there are over 60-something team who are called district head this, and they cannot even come together even to do a meeting. You need a lead team of 15 technical experts, heads of departments, who can run this hospital and manage everything without even bringing people from outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Siat.
Just a quick follow-up. I actually agree. There is some element to this. We have a bureaucracy. We need to be careful. There are so many layers of boards and advisory groups. What we need is a lean process. The final part of which I agree with is we need a lean process. And healthcare should really be something that the governor directly pays attention to, not just the technocrats who are running.
Thank you. Okay. Only if you have
I just wanted to answer the one he said.
Yes.
Because the referral hospital, I agree with us. But make sure you get the right people and make sure the legislation is right. It says the qualification of the chair, the qualification of that, because it's happened to other boards. I did to have that referral. And the health facility Wajir should be run by the Wajir municipality so that anybody going to Wajir referral hospital is coming from all levels.
Thank you. Mheshimiwa Ahmed Abdullah, yes?
Now, I think whoever said we don't need consultants doesn't know where we came from. We advertised for consultants 3 times in the newspapers and we could not attract one. I had to poach someone. That's how Dr. Zanai, the Ethiopian, came here, the late Dr. Zanai. And he reduced our referrals to Nairobi by more than 50%. And that's why we decided to invest in our own consultants. So some things are very abstract that people say here. And two, and the people of Wajir know that, how helpful he was. Two, we don't need a lot of boards. What we need, and whoever said the issue of accounting officers, the chief officer for public health, for health, takes care of the clinical aspects and is the accounting officer for the hospital. The regime that came after me had chief officers who were not accounting officers. There were some old 30 chief officers, but only 10 of them are accounting officers. I mean, that is part of the problem. So I think there is also, the issue of empowering the CMT, the county management team, with basic supervision and review, very basic supervision and review. Things can be fixed. They don't need the money that used to go to the facilities. There was an agreement between my health minister and my finance minister that if they need the money delays, the finance minister pays ahead of time and gets refunded when the delayed money comes. So these things can be done. It just needs someone who knows what is going on. And since I'm the one who fixed it, these are the guys who take much longer to understand. Just return me.
Thank you. Dr. Kabu, are you contented or you want to debunk? Okay.
I don't know whether the former governor misunderstood me. I never said we don't want consultants. I just said that the consultants have no job because of the way the system is. Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
No, I want to rebut this.
Okay.
What we have, it's a fact that we have, if you have 10 consultants who can do their jobs,
yes,
and you have 45 health centers who are not staffed with basic staff, then it's clear you have a misallocation of resources. That's not rocket science. It's simple for someone to understand. You have 10 highly qualified persons who are not being utilized while you provide basic staff.
Thank you, Dr. Siak.
So I want to go back one.
Yes.
Because I think maybe I've not been clear. We have accounting officers who are chief officers. Nobody should be a chief officer and not an accounting officer. But then we must have AE holders. AE holders are authority to incur expenditure sent by the chief officer to the sub-counties. Evolving further. If you do not, even the hostel, you must have an accounting officer. If the person at the top who knows what is supposed to be done does not have the money, does not have the authority to sack, the authority to reward, then we are talking of nonsense. We need a professional civil service. Kenya, is it run by the president and the cabinet? No, they set the policy. But the civil service are the ones who run this government. This government will go, another one will come. Wajir, tell me, where is the civil service that runs this country?
Thank you. Now we don't have time. We are going to the last question in English. Then we'll go to Somali. The last question in English, then we'll go to Somali. If elected on 9th of August, inshallah, peace is paramount in this country. Without peace, you cannot deliver, all of you. As an aspirant and candidate of this county, what future priority or plans do you have? We have a porous border, we have terror attacks, our gallant police officers have been killed, our teachers have been killed. What plans do you have for security? 2 minutes, we'll start with Honorable Ahmed Abdullahi. Karibu.
Like education is one of the areas where governors will have challenges because it's not even partially developed. But you find yourself in it because, people look up to you as governor. And we have two types of insecurities. One is, as you said, terror attacks and radicalization issues, which have now also gone to the periphery, to the nomadic settlements. Two is clan conflicts over pastures, border territories, and stuff like that. One of the things that I intend to do is to use the religious leaders to resolve internal conflict problems. Because a lot of the other people that we've been using at times have brokered it too much and have been part of the problem. Especially when death knocks. Either someone should be willing to be taken through the legal system to be charged with murder, or we do it Islamically. And this is a promise that I made to the ulama of Wajir, that I'll set up a board that helps as an alternative dispute resolution to mediate between communities. We'll have to use largely also Muslims because it is what we fall back to. In as far as security terror is concerned, at the height of the terror attacks in this town, we bought 4 Prados, not from government money, second-hand vehicles, and gave to the local policemen here, and they fixed the problem. We now need to have serious anti-radicalization programs to de-radicalize our herdsmen and our youth, and we also need to create employment to give youth opportunities so that they don't get taken into these kind of activities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ahmed, Karibu.
Thank you very much. I first want to check whether this is not a personal attack. I just want to tell him I'm not from Diff, and Diff is not a village. It is a sub-county. It is a sub-county headquarters. And to answer your question, security is paramount, and there is nexus between security and development. You can't do anything, any development agenda in this country without security. And most of the time, our actions lead to insecurity we see in the country. Why? Because majority of the youth are idle, and there are no empowering programs for them that will at least absorb them or make them busy to go into, funny things. That is why I said in my opening remarks, number one issue for me is cohesion of the communities living in Wajir. If you distribute the resources of the country equitably, if you make sure the youth are engaged in activities that empower them, then you will have no insecurity. We know some of these things are foreign, these ideas that create insecurity in our country, but if you make sure the youth are engaged, those persons coming or those ideas coming from outside will have more minds to go into if you engage the youth. So main basically is make sure the resources of the county are distributed equitably and have programs for the youth.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome, Professor.
Thank you, Madam. Insecurity is a global issue. It's not something of Wajir County. We know the Kingi is central Kenya, right? You can work 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. in Wajir. You can work in Kuranga or part of Nairobi. We know that, right? We know that there's that in most of Kenya, right? So insecurity is like it's insignificant. But we know from independence we have been not treated as Kenyans. Is that not a fact? How do we overcome that? It has already been mentioned at the beginning of opening of this debate. 2010 Constitution have brought equality to Kenya, but not for Northern Eastern Province, or not for our counties, Mandera, Wajir, Mandera, Moyale, etc., and etc., right? How do we overcome that? How overcome is we need to elect the right president. The right president. Don't make a mistake for handout. Don't fall for not to have the money you stole. Elect right or do, and we are going to address the problem of insecurity.
Professor.
No.
Professor.
No. I'm answering the question. I'm answering the question about insecurity.
Not presidential, please. We are at county.
The county comes under the national government, and in order to address that, we need a national lead that understands us, that leads us. Right? Thank you. So therefore, elect Raila lead as a president and work as a governor, and security will be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Again, I think the issue of security, as has been said, there's peace and security. The build of the security is national government, the peace is the population who's supposed to bring it. And that's where the county comes in. Of the two, as people say, the Wajir is very secure in other. So we have the problem, which is periodic, which is clan, that can be mitigated by structures that exist. And if you do have the sub-county administrators, I would rename them and put them in a higher position, working with owners, traditional leaders, and working with their neighboring counties, working with the neighboring country, we can push. Again, everybody that experience from the police have worked on it nationally and this place. When it comes to security, we should have, in my view, I will have agreement with the just like TLC and education, so that those roles are done. When you talk about radicalization, for example, 70% of the work is the community and the leadership. They must accept this a problem that we must debunk it. We must not, hide behind it. Security. We must remove the fear, and we must mobilize our population to totally reject it. Working with national government, the national government also must act within the laws, and we must support each other. And therefore, my government, in terms of security, we will make sure that we are at peace with neighbors and Wajir is united, and that we are working with the national government and addressing the hard part of it to back up the community. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome, Dr. Siat. Time is
this is, I think, one of the most critical problems facing our county. Every few months, we bury 5 to 7 persons. Just Kersekof the other day, there were 7 bodies. Eldero, I think in Wajir South, 2 locations. We have 2 issues going on. One is a border security problem, not internationally, but with other counties. We are a pastoralist community. Our pastoralists are going across borders for grazing, and some are also coming to us. What we are having is a leadership crisis. The other governors, places like Marsabit and even Mandera, where there's been a decent government, they have had a very strong approach to look at serving the interests of their pastoralists when they cross their borders. We need to have a relationship with the other governors. Our governor needs to take this issue hands-on and create a team that works just on nothing but security. So one is the border issue. The second piece is the issue of our madrasas and our schools. We have to utilize our imams and our mosques for a de-radicalization program, to have funding for these young guys so that they don't fall prey to bad advisors, so that they're not recruited. If we have funding for our non-secular schools, the religious institutions, and to have and work with the imams, I think in a long-term plan, we can reduce radicalization. Thirdly, we need to use our clan structure for a positive purpose. It's already practically dividing us politically to a certain degree. We need to get a council of elders from all the clans in this county that are funded to work on peace between the communities. If we have communities that are living side by side, the government should fund them to talk and work in peace and in harmony. This is something that has come. If both governments, by the way, we've had 160 deaths, even in the first government, within one clan, sub-clan structure. We have a crisis and we have a problem of credibility from the previous governments.
Thank you, Dr. Siad.
Thank you very much. On the issue of peace and security, first of all, there's an internal issue and external issue. Internally within our communities, within ourselves, and then external aggression or things related to that. So for me, I think the Department of Peace needs to be empowered, needs to be resourced, especially there's a lot of efforts that have gone into creating peace. I agree that the sub-county level, the DCCs and the people at the sub-county levels, especially the national government security structures, if you work with them, help them, the county government actually approves certain small badges to support them. And then also, at the end of the day, we need to find a way to create justice within ourselves. Justice, they say, which comes first, justice or peace, right? Which comes first? Is it justice or peace? So justice comes before peace, isn't it? So marginalization, even perceived marginalization, is a problem. You know, so what you need to find is to find inner peace before external peace. So for me, I think the issue of inner peace is the main issue. And then now we can issue issues of our borders, issues of, those are all issues of, my view is that our quarterly meetings with the communities, the county government will have, and I repeat this, these discussions, our public participation programs, quarterly, are going to be addressing some of these issues. We will know where are underfunded, we know where we need to invest in, but again, I think peace is next to water, maybe, something like that for me, and I think there are a lot of programs that have been put in place that are in jeopardy, for example, that have been very helpful already on the peace front. So I think we need to work on those. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Kabu, 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. I think peace is number one. Even if it is not the docket for the national county government, it is still number one. More than health, more than water, more than education, because without peace, you can't do anything. Then there are two aspects of peace. One, cross-border or international terrorism. That one, there's nothing much we can do, but what we can do, we can work on radicalization within the county. Working with our schools, radicalization, yes, not radicalization. Within our schools, that's from primary to secondary, within the madrasas, the duxis, using our sheikhs, our elders. That is one aspect, we do our part. That one, I'll leave it at that. Number two, this is within the county. Within the county, we used to have what was called Wajir Peace and Development. Forget the development, now we can call it Wajir Peace Forum, Mohammed Low and team. And Mohammed used to be a partner before. I think that thing must be revived. I'm told there's a director of peace in the county. I don't know what you guys do. It should be revived. At least the directorate of peace can be funded by the county government. At least people have their salaries, they are okay, so that when need arises, they are able to do their proposals and get money for when you need within the county or across the counties, across counties, where these elders can be used to bring peace. One thing I believe in is this. Peace between counties is very simple. What do you need? When our people need to cross, say Moyale or Marsabit or Isiolo, you just need to send elders in advance and talk to them. Agree with them, say we have drought, we have this problem, we need water, we need pasture, respect, trust. Once you do that, these issues of killings and abrupt killings will end. If anything comes up, because you have already that relationship, we can solve it. So my belief is that let's work on those three aspects: the radicalization within primary, secondary schools, madrasas, duksis, using our sheikhs and our elders, and the one of international. Of course, we'll work with the national government and see what we can do. Cross-border, we are able to work with the governors in the other counties, our security team in the county, the other one.
Your time is
Okay,
over.
and we do that one.
Thank you. Professor, okay.
To begin with,
Yes.
thank you. To begin with,
Define.
security is not the whole function of the county. It's a national issue. The military, the police, the national intelligence, the administration police, nation is at the national level. We cannot talk of security at the county level without looking above us, the national level. That's why I was interrupted incorrectly, because I'm addressing this is an issue. If you have the right, I'll give you an example. A 17-year-old kid has been admitted to school in Nairobi. When they are at the bus station at the river in Garissa, they are out of the bus and they are being put into prison probably. Why? Is Wajir, Garissa, Medera not part of Kenya? These are issues we need to address at the national level. And if you have right leadership, we can address. We are in contact with Azimio, and the President Raila promised to address that issue.
Thank you.
Think beyond county level.
Thank you. Yes, Elmi.
I think there's just
Mheshimiwa Elmi. Okay.
one thing that I wanted to sort out. As you have seen, the clan structure, clannism is bad. Our clan structure is excellent. Just a mark on it is what we use to trace it. So what I'm saying is, let's have every community along the border, sub-county, Griftu, have a permanent relationship with Isiolo and others. And there are one vehicle, a few elders who are permanently resourced can do that. Let's not forget Somalia also, our neighbor. You can actually resolve majority of those things.
Thank you.
And those people saying it's a national government, just know that we are at two levels independent, and they can actually work together, and they can actually, you saw Sonko transferring his functions to the national government.
Thank you. Before that, Ahmed was, please, Ahmed was ahead of you. Then
I also wanted to add to what I have already said, that I have the best brains when it comes to security as deputy. Professor Mohammed Elmi, who has been in the security sector for quite some time, and is a retired military general. So I have the best brains when it comes to security, and I'm sure when it comes to security, the best.
Thank you. Let's give to Dr. Siat.
That's a good one.
Yes, Dr.
You know, I actually agree that Ahmed has a very good deputy. I agree with that. Now, just responding quickly to Mheshimiwa Waziri Ilmi, I think Waziri Ilmi brings a lot of credibility when it comes to working across clan lines in our county. However, these guys have been on the stage for a very long time, in all fairness, right? So I think it's time to pass the baton to new ideas. I recommend him to be an elder statesman who can advise us, but let us do the governor's job.
Thank you.
I just wanted to add that, or at least to rebut, the issue, the way we deal with security in this country, I mean, in this county, in our region, has been what we call a knee-jerk reaction approach, where the problem happens, you come with helicopters, you do a few things, and it is forgotten. And then you come another problem. There's no systemic approach to anything. So my view is we stop that altogether, and we actually approach this matter in a so regular, constant, we call it proactive approach, issue of security, beyond empowering the sectors that are involved with it.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa Ahmed.
Okay, sorry. I just want to do a quick rebuttal. I actually left the stage, but things went so bad, so terrible. And everybody can see on all sectors. And I actually don't see that it can be, I'll fix for you 5 years. and then you're welcome to continue from there.
Thank you. Thank you. Mheshimiwa Ahmed.
Now, I want to tell Professor, yes, there's a need for liaison between county and national government, but don't also over-rely on national government. The first 2 years of my term, the county security team, including the people in Bute, was supposed to fuel their vehicles from Mwingi. So you can imagine, you drive a Land Rover from Bute, you fuel it in Mwingi, but you have no fuel. So the county supplied all the fuel for all security vehicles in the entire county for 2 good years, and had to raise the issue with the president twice at the summit for an order to be given, special permission to be given to the periphery. And in Turkana used to collect their fuel from Kitale. So that means that the people also for national government are some who are not in touch with the reality. Now the mistake we'll make is to say, let's replace those who know what was going on and replace with those who have no clue as to what the reality is. In English they say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. It wasn't broken. You broke it through the elections. Let it be the way it was. Get me back. We'll fix these things.
Thank you, Dr. Kabu. Let's give Dr. Thank you. Mic on, please, Dr.
Thank you. He's the expert. We should give him this job. When you talk about the national government doing that, before devolution, what was happening? Let's be sincere. Let me take an example as Albaswene sub-county. Very functional sub-county, progressing, growing up. After county government started, devolution started, it died. So why? There should be a reason for that. So let's not try, we talk about what has happened before. We want to go forward. We want to solve this issue. We want to make sure that devolution succeeds so that we take this thing to the lower level. And in that aspect as well, security will have to go to those levels. We make use of the chiefs. We make use of Nyumbakumi. We make use of our elders to make sure that we're able to secure our people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Siad. We don't have time. Please. Now we have come to the end of English session, and this could have been 3 days debate, but because of resources, that is why we have only some hours to debate on issues of governance and gubernatorial leaders. Please bear with us. We have several questions, but these ones, please address them in Somali language as we go into Somali language. One, someone has asked, what are your plans for youth empowerment? 2, peace and security we have discussed, we are done. Waste disposal management we have done. Financial management in terms of CIDP, ADP, we are not following it. It is contractor based. Please handle it properly. Housing for Wajir, what plans do you have? Minority rights and disability rights, what do you have for it? It is a long list, but please. Then civil servants, their statutory deduction has not been submitted for the last 5 years, and the staff are really suffering. So please, when we come back after 5 minutes break, we refreshen ourselves, 5 minutes break. The leaders, the candidates go back to where you are. Audience, please take your time, only 5 minutes. Let's come back. Thank you very much.